So one thing about Americans is we have the able to speak our own truth, right? And we have the ability to not speak it, right? By having this Fifth Amendment, which is a beautiful thing, and having freedom of speech, which is another, we have the right to opinions and the right to be able to say what we want to in the context that we have for the words that we use. Whether it can be represented in court, 100% of the time it can be. Now, certain countries and corporations have certain policies and blah blah blah, right? But free time and recording and public use and blah blah blah, those have a whole nother meaning in copyright laws and patent laws, and there's a whole bunch to it, right? All that's not important though, because this is a fun part of the Declaration of Independence that I think has a lot to do with stuff like that. He has refused for a long time, after such dissolutions, to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative power, incapable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large for their exercise, the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and convulsions within. And this is fun. I get to bring in the 23rd Amendment because the District of Columbia, which currently is under government lockdown and barbed wire fences and all of that and blah blah blah. That's cool. I get to talk about a bunch of how that is like my government making its own state that represents equal power to a minimum state of stature, even though it's within a state and it's just a city. And it should be seen not as a power, because then we go into like New York City and we go into other huge cities with metropolises which have collapsed under their own weight of power due to many reasons and this and that, and we can't talk about those either due to this and that because we're not allowed to. Right? We're not allowed our own opinions on these things. We have to conform to the opinions that people have brought forth to us, which you can agree to or disagree to, but when it comes for the test, you have to agree to whatever they decided you agreed upon. They agreed upon. Whatever forbearance it comes to when they point the gun to your head. Right? And that's as pathetic as it gets. That is literally as pathetic as it gets. Right? And so, for a long time, right? Well, a lot of things have been happening in America for a long time. All the books say so. All the people say so. All the media says so. All the everything since the fucking day I was born has been saying this and that. Right? It's fucking idiotic. It's quite frankly pathetic. Right? And whatever else. And so, after such dissolutions, so relieve that from your mind, right? See clearly. You should be able to see clearly now that the rain has gone, or whatever the fuck, right? The mask is gone, the illusion, the mirage has faded, right? You realize you're starving or whatever the fuck else, right? It's the real world, buddy. You fucking grow up, right? To cause others to be elected, right? So, okay, so wait. He has refused for a long time after many problems, after many showings that our government has failed us in many ways for opposing, wrong one, to cause others to be elected. So we only let people from like Yale or fucking Harvard or some shit get elected president or some shit, right? Only some fucking Senator Brown Noser fucking get elected. Only some fucking corporate snob get elected. When was the last time we had an American get elected? Right? Some guy that fucking came from fucking nothing get elected, right? No, we can't have that and blah 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 and whatever else. And if we did have that, I haven't seen it. I'm sorry, even with the corporate books and everything else, I haven't seen it. Sorry. Right, when have we had someone talk about the issues become elected? When have you had your neighbor become elected, right? And do something for your town or your public space? When has he talked about what he actually does and it's good for your community or whatever else, right? And have people tried to stop good people from being elected, and how have they done it? And if they have done it with money instead of virtue, there is a problem, and a lot of people do that. It's the ads and the fucking publicity stunts and all the fucking fiction in the world that they throw in front of people and just fucking hurl it. I mean, absolutely hurl it in front of people, and it's idiotic, right? Whereby the legislative powers, okay, so the law, these bureaucrats, right, incapable of annihilation, so we can't get rid of them no matter how hard they fail, right? So we can't it's like this: we can't prosecute anybody for failing in their obligations to their oath. They just get a clean slate and they get to keep their money and everything else, and no fucking lawyers get nothing. No fucking politicians get nothing. No fucking military get nothing. No fucking nobody gets no fucking nothing if they pay their fucking dues with hardcore cash that they fucking got from the people and not from themselves. Right? Which is fucked up, and it happens every fucking day. It really does. Right? It's rules for thee and not for me. Right? And if you don't think that the assent to law should be equal, then I'm sorry. I thought this was a fucking America. Right? And only tyrants say that they get to oversee the rules and they get to forbearance the rules even though they are under the same obligation as we are. That's incompetence. That's how people get hurt. That's negligence. Right? You can't say that I get to break the rules under these circumstances unless everybody gets to break the rules under those same circumstances. That's idiotic. Right? And our government does way too much of that because guess what? They're average people. They're normal people. They go home and they teach their kids their stupid bullshit to get ahead in life. Or whatever else they teach their fucking kids. And I don't care what they teach their kids or anything else or how stupid they are or whatever else, but I'm sick of them making the rules for me. For my kids, for my family, for my pursuit of happiness. Because, oh my God, either put the rules in black and white for every goddamn American to understand and not some vague bullshit, right? Make the rules make sense with following it, monkey see, monkey do, right? 100% of the time, no forbearance on it or whatever else you think you need, right? And whatever else. it's getting so difficult to understand how you guys are doing this stuff, right? One mask, two masks, three masks. Next time we'll wear a fucking motorcycle helmet, and we'll put on a little microphone so that we can speak with people. Soon we'll need fucking little air filters that go out of it as well, because our own filters won't be good enough. And we'll have to buy those FDA approved and everything else. I wasn't born with a goddamn mask on my face. Sorry, I wasn't. Don't say that the world has to have a mask on their face. That's stupid. You fucked up in the first place, okay? You can't take criticism of that. We have to shut anybody that criticizes that up, right? And then whatever else you want. It has to be compliant to what you say at that point. That's idiotic at this point. You've caused people's actual lives to be affected outside of this disease. 400,000 deaths? How many millions lost their job? Millions. Not thousands, millions. How many millions lost their job? How many millions lost their livelihood, their pursuit of happiness, their liberties during this fiasco? But we can't talk about that, right? And we're incapable of talking about it, and thus we are incapable of annihilating the problem we have. Because we have to listen to some fucking nobody we never fucking heard of in our entire lives, and we can't see what they actually did for their life. Because they didn't do fucking shit for their life. Except for read fucking some books. Maybe use some technology to figure some shit out. Technology that was given to them. Right? And in doing such, if they want to make the rules, they have to make the information public. And in doing such, this person loses their value of information. And in doing such, unfortunately, we'll be able to make our own decisions. And not have to invest in people that have this information to make the decisions for us. And we have to decide if we are allowed to make these decisions for us or not with the information. And there's a whole litany of this whole back and forth of, do you have the right to your own information that you learn? Yes. Do you have the right to enforce rules on people without giving them information? No. Or yes. I don't know, and I need to know. Right? See, because if you do it unknowingly, you can still be persecuted in court. Right? So why don't we give this information to people? And that's interesting. And I need more information on it. And you guys won't give me the information, so stop making the fucking rules. How about that? Right? If you can't follow your own rules because you don't know your own rules, you should stop enforcing rules. That's why I have a problem with cops. That's why I have a problem with politicians. That's why I have a problem with teachers. That's why I have a problem with a lot of things. Because they don't know what they're talking about a lot of the time. And I don't either. And that's a problem too. But here's the thing. Someday, I plan on having enough money to learn how to fly a plane, take a plane across the world, right around it, or to the edge or whatever. I saw the ocean for the first time in my conscious life at the age of like almost 30. Right? I I have seen every state on one side of the Mississippi before I saw an ocean. That's impressive. Although continental, whatever that means, right? And no districts included because districts have their own forbearance and governments and blah blah blah. And Puerto Rico is its own country, and it has its own governments, and we only dictate like economics basically there. That's a whole nother topic. All right. Have returned to the people at large for their exercise. Okay. So the people at large are voting for the people that keep fucking them over. If I'm pretty sure there's a word for something that if you keep doing it and nothing changes, it's called something. But I don't have a hypothesis on what that word is right now. I need more information. Okay, I'm not going to be ignorant and just use a word I shouldn't, right? So, let's see. When saying that, when do the people at large stop ordering everybody around? Right? When do they stop electing people and let people just be people and make their own decisions and make their own life choices and unfortunately get what they get? Right? When do we stop making more rules and just say, okay, follow the rules that we have? When do we start fixing the rules that we have to accommodate large districts of people to be properly enforced equally amongst people? When do we start being more equal to everybody? When do we start doing a lot of things that I'm apparently not allowed to talk about as an American citizen? Due to certain reasons, right? When do we get to exercise freedoms, right? Oh well. The state remaining, in the meantime, exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and convulsions within. There is a reason why Washington, D.C., which actually, now that I mention it, I probably shouldn't talk about the 23rd Amendment and stuff like that. We can't talk about how our country gained equal power to a state that can change a country's whole foundation. We can't talk about the legalities of that and blah 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 amendments and whatever else, right? Because we're not supposed to talk about hard topics like that unless you go to law school and you pay a lot of money, right? You can't read the literature that they read. You're not allowed to, apparently, which is both not true and incompetent, but what do I know? And there are a lot of things, but we can agree to disagree, right? And so the state, well, here's the thing. They make all these rules in their fucking high towers on all the people, and they don't have to follow those same rules. They get to reap the benefits of the rules that they make, the tariffs that they make, the time that people spend investing in them gets to benefit them more than what the bargain that they ever agreed to. Because most of them never agreed to a bargain to begin with. And that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. Right? And we can probably talk about that another time. But that's kind of how it is. Our states are on fire. Washington, D.C., and quite a few other public buildings are under gun protection, right? Our politicians are 24/7 protected, right? And who are these people? What have they ever done for me? What have they ever done for me in the last 20 years? Right? And I think that's an issue. Um, our states are failing, our people are failing, our society is failing, our economics are failing, our freedoms are failing, our education is failing, our transportation is failing, our systems of life are failing, and I'm not pointing the blame at anyone. But I'm saying that some people haven't helped this situation at all with many things that they have done by butting into other people's lives. And it has caused states to feel shame. It has caused America to feel shame. It has caused citizens to feel shame. It has caused a lot of insults to everybody, and I'm pretty sick of it. But this was fun, right? Nobody can see how states have failed in their own laws, right? Nobody can see how certain states are burning, certain states are doing all right, certain counties are doing better than other counties, certain areas are doing better than other certain areas, and the like, due to how they are as people, this and that, blah blah blah, right? No, lump them all together, call them a number, right? And then they don't even compare that statistically correct. So what do we get in the meantime, right? More bullshit fiction, more convulsions within, and invasions for without, right? More stepping on people that have had enough, and more civil unrest for the sole reason of you guys are making it. But what do I know? Have a good one, guys. This is Most Civilized Savage, and he's out.